Good morning to you all, and a very warm welcome to the Isle of Man for the first match on day 3 of the Netball Europe Open Challenge 2019 here at the National Sports Centre. We have seen some amazing netball from our 6 competing teams over the last 2 days. Our hosts, Isle of Man, Gibraltar, Republic of Ireland, Emirates, Israel and the Cayman Islands, along with the UK Armed Forces. This morning we bring you match 13 from 21, and what a great dozen matches it has been so far. I hope you've been able to enjoy the games so far this weekend. This morning we bring you what is bound to be a fantastic match between the UK Armed Forces and the Cayman Islands. So don't miss a minute of the action here today. All 5 matches live streamed to you throughout Saturday. I'm Lynn Carpenter and I'm joined today in commentary by Nat Pepperell. Nat, day 3, match 13, Cayman Islands against UK Armed Forces. What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic game this morning. I'm excited to see the Cayman Islands back on court after last night, see how they match up. And interestingly, Cayman Islands have actually scored more goals generally in their games than the UK Armed Forces, despite UK Armed Forces coming out with the wins.
So more opportunities being created, although the UK Armed Forces is the only team in this competition unbeaten so far.
Yeah, I do think the Cayman Islands have the capacity to overturn them though.
So let's bring you the starting 7 of these 2 teams. So first of all, up the UK Armed Forces. Goal shooter Curtis, goal attack Davis, wing attack Hockenhall, centre Mulderick, Fern Davis in at wing defence, goal defence Bolakora and goalkeeper Bailey. Their coach is Linda Kearney. And from the Cayman Islands, our invitational international side, goal shooter Copeland, goal attack Wilson, at wing attack Carrerius, centre Gow, at wing defence Clark, goal defence Holston and at goalkeeper Lynch. Their coach is Lyneth Montieth. And we can tell you that our umpires for today's game are Leonard Massou and Joe Lilly. The reserve is James Thomas. So it's going to be quite an exciting matchup here today.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited to see what happens in the Cayman Island shooting circle. As we alluded to before, they've generally scored quite a lot of goals. Even though they've lost a few games, they've still scored quite highly. It'll be interesting to see what Bailey and Balakaro do to shut that down, the combination between Wilson and Copeland.
So Cayman Islands get us off to a start here this morning. Copeland with that sort of step in that she seems to favour.
Yeah, even when she's far away from the post, she's just a massive step and she's close, and she shoots so high it's hard to mark. New partnership in the circle for the Cayman Islands as well. See Hurlston taking the goal defence bib today and Lynch dropping back into the keeper position. Be interesting to see the 2 centres as well. Catherine Gow's been quite important for the Cayman Islands. She's controlled a lot of the game through the middle, and we've seen Anna Mulderig as well for the UK Armed Forces, just hasn't stopped. So it'll be interesting to see which one of those 2 comes out the better in this competition.
Both are quite incredible in their own right, those 2 centres.
Absolutely.
Mulderick's an ultra athlete. Ultra, I think, marathon runner, does all sorts of endurance events. And Catherine Gow only recently gave birth, has a baby here and is feeding during the night in between matches. So in terms of sport and empowerment, here are 2 women who really reflect all that's brilliant about netball. Yeah,
absolutely. Baby's on the sideline being looked after, and it's an inspiration, isn't it, to all of us to see that you can still have your family around and still go on the court and compete and play really hard.
So as we expected in these early stages, nothing between these 2, 1-1 at the moment.
Yeah, and just a little bit loose for me at the moment in the circle for the Cayman Islands. Probably because a result of yesterday's game, they're potentially off marking a little bit more, but they're giving Curtis way too much space at the moment at the front. They need to cover the front ball. They can still off mark and cover the front, but they do need to cover it. So 2-1
to the armed forces.
Yeah, nice cover. Again, a little bit of off marking for the Cayman Islands, but that worked, them zoning out the front.
They struggled a little bit with their distance and the instructions back from the umpires yesterday, which caused a little bit of confusion in their circle. So they've clearly thought about that, reflected overnight, watched the video. They've got to get that balance right between pressure on the shooters, though, and staying too far back.
Yeah, they do. And you know what? They are really fast. So I do like the fact that they can off-mark. They don't need to be really tight. And we saw yesterday when Lewis actually adjusted her style and came off. She actually came out with ball. So it might well work in their favour. It could be a positive thing for them that happened.
So Megan Bailey getting the interception, not quite keeping it in.
Oh, well read there by Balakaro. Just unfortunate, didn't get two hands to it.
I think it's the first time we've seen Copeland miss almost the whole of the tournament. I don't remember her missing a shot so far.
She doesn't miss many, and the thing is, when she has missed, you don't necessarily notice it as much because she gets the rebounds. Just deemed a little bit too close there, but good effort.
So 3-all. Cayman Islands centre pass.
Yeah, strong three over there by the UK Armed Forces. Just forces a bit of pressure.
Balakaro has been effective for Armed Forces, hasn't she?
She has, yeah. She didn't start in the game yesterday against... she says, just checking. Isle of Man. She didn't start in the game against Isle of Man. Isle of Man did really well, and until half-time it was really close, and I think they brought her on for a bit of defensive firepower because they had to have an answer for the Isle of Man yesterday.
So turnover on the centre pass. Armed Forces up by 1.
And that's that front ball that they really need to start challenging.
Lynch has been solid in the back all the way through this tournament for Cayman Islands.
Yeah, clever defence by UK Armed Forces, sitting everyone ball side. Just forcing them to make that long pass. And good pressure there by Fern Davies.
We've seen her hunting quite effectively throughout the last 2 days.
Yeah, and we spoke before, she has a really good closing speed on hunting, and if they've watched her, they'll know that she can do that, and that in itself can put doubt in it before the game's even started when you've seen a player like that on good form.
So Davis scores again, 5-3. Armed Forces lead. I think as we saw in the game yesterday between Cayman Islands and Isle of Man, it was so close to call all the way through, probably until the last 3 minutes, when some of those issues around the defence impacted on the game.
Yeah, it was disappointing actually that I mean, in fairness to the Isle of Man, they had worked hard to get that 4-goal lead, and they were maintaining it all the way through and doing a good job of closing out. Would have been nice to see it 7v7 at the end, but the final scoreline obviously didn't reflect actually how competitive it had been all the way through. It was just a bit of a blowout at the end. I'm sure they won't want the same today. It was their first quarter yesterday actually that let the Cayman Islands down. They were down by 4 going into the second and third, but competitive drawing second and third quarter, so this early pressure isn't unknown for them, and they definitely have the capacity to come back from it.
So now a 7-3 lead to the Armed Forces.
And again, that's a mix-up of the feed that we've seen them do really well.
So Cayman Islands, one of the rated sides in the world, but not ranked, which means they haven't played that many competitive international games over the last few years. You wouldn't have thought that, seeing how they've come out here this weekend.
No, definitely, and it's great that they've got the opportunity to play in these games to try and get a ranking. I'm not sure whether it will be enough for them this weekend to get a ranking, because it has to have been 8 games over those 4 years, but we shall see. That's nice width there. Oh, sending it back into the traffic. And Catherine Gow uses her body really well and effectively and cleanly just to guard that ball.
That misunderstanding there in the feed allows UK Armed Forces bring out.
Yeah, and that's good pressure at the back there from Nikki Lynch. She pretty much did that on her own because her attacking players forgot how to defend for that transition. And the UK Armed Forces as well need to make sure that as they're bringing that ball through, even if they do find the first few passes easy, that they still settle and are patient getting it in at the last, because Nikki Lynch won't make it easy for them.
So if you are tuning in on a lovely sunny day here down on the Isle of Man, then send us your comments and thoughts on the game. Use our hashtag #NEOpen and we'll do our best to let you know we can see you with us. So Lyndon Rowe, nice to have you here. I think you're supporting the Armed Forces team from one of the Army ground staff and Aldershot Garrison tuning in. So good to see you all connected from where you are. You're very welcome to be with us. They'll be pleased about the score, 7-4 at this moment in time. As we say, so early days. I think you can underestimate the ability of the Cayman Islands to be tenacious.
Yeah, and that's the second long ball we've seen go in now, and actually it's been made to look quite easy. There is work going on behind the scenes of Rose Wilson and Kay Copeland that are screening that ball, but the Armed Forces really need to get their head around what it is that they're doing and try and break that down. See, that's too easy.
That combination of Wilson and Copeland is really effective because they do have a whole range of tools to bring to the court. It's not just one size fits all, not one style.
Yeah, and we see, I mean, you can get drawn into Kay Copeland because of what she does and how effective she is. But actually, Rose Wilson now is doing a lot of damage because the pressure has been put on Kay Copeland. She's the one driving in and getting those long balls. So they've got equal shooting power between them. It's really difficult to defend. See, look, again, ball straight down to Rose Wilson. And this is the mistake the Isle of Man made yesterday. They dropped off Rose Wilson to double on Kay Copeland, and they didn't understand how damaging Rose Wilson can actually be.
Well, it has been damaging to the score. So Cayman Islands now 7-all 7 with just over 5 minutes to go in this quarter.
Yeah, nice circle play there. Good position by the mid-court to allow Kay Copeland just to offload.
And that's the first time in this game we see Cayman Islands getting ahead.
Nice ball, much better placement there by the Armed Forces.
They are giving her way too much room in there, aren't they? Just dropping back on the double, but Wilson is going to take full advantage of that, which she does.
Yeah, we've seen, you know, their captain obviously isn't on the court today, the Armed Forces. Nordia Masters is currently sat with the coaching team. We think possibly due to injury, we've seen her moving around with crutches, so they could well be missing her at the back. She's got a wealth of experience to sort of say, right, this has been a number of goals, we need to mix it up. So someone back there now needs to make sure that they change their style a little bit.
Oh, it's unfortunate. Hoston almost took that cleanly. Curtis just having a bit of trouble on the height of her shots today.
Yeah, an early caution as well there for Lynch, I think, for obstruction. No goal, she has to wait for the whistle because time has been held. Oh no, it wasn't for... It is for Lynch.
So
Beautiful.
One goal in it, great take.
Yeah, really good drive to the top of the circle edge there by Rachel Hockenhall. Nice ball in by Anna Mulderig. Just not managing to finish it off in that circle, are they, at the moment?
No, they're getting the opportunities now, but they're just not slotting it away.
Yeah, and you know, they're a really good team in terms of their teamwork, so their defence will be working hard to give them as many opportunities as possible, and I don't think it'll take too long for them to settle back into it.
Oh, that was a great rebound by Bolakora.
Yeah, and needed. And this is where they'll be giving them more opportunities. Get the ball back down.
Oh. Ball handling. Well, picked up by Mulderick. Now Curtis. That's an important score by the Armed Forces, brings it to 9 goals all. Less than 3 minutes now, Nat, until quarter time.
Yeah, and great defence again of the centre pass by the UK Armed Forces. The Cayman Islands just being really flat on that offer, and they're jumping the line, the UK Armed Forces, and having that wall. In the Cayman Islands are going to have to punch through the wall or send it back and use the advantage of being able to get depth. Footwork, yeah. Unlucky.
I think she thought she might get a contact call there, but umpire didn't call it, so.
Yeah, you got to play to the whistle.
So 9 all. 2 minutes to go, first quarter. Cayman Islands have played 4 games so far. 1 win out of the 4. UK Armed Forces, this is their 4th game, 3 from 3.
Yeah, and in fairness to the Cayman Islands, I think the game when we saw them play against Emirates, they were a different team. And I know that sounds a bit cliche, but they really were. They were a lot more clinical. They seemed up for it. And the other 3 games that they've lost, well, the first 2, in fairness to them, they'd said that they were jet lagged. They didn't really turn up for that game. And then the last game, obviously, it was a bit controversial in terms of the fact they ended up down to 6 players. Well, you're not going to win a game against the Isle of Man when it's goal for goal and you've lost a player.
Which happens to be one of the defenders.
Yeah. But this is one, if they continue as they are, this is one they could definitely take. The UK Armed Forces have been consistent all the way through, gradually improving a little bit, I think, in terms of their teamwork and their structure. But, straight away you can see that they're fantastic athletes.
And that was a great visionary ball by Rachel Mulderick. So they just get their heads ahead in the last 30 seconds. 10-9, the Armed Forces lead.
Just need to get a bit more width. They're all really close together, but that's a style of defence by the Cayman Islands. They've been putting that pressure on teams all weekend, pushing them on one side.
Long ball. Oh, Wilson did well there. Into Copeland. We know she's lethal.
Great shot.
And that's punished the Armed Forces for losing their centre pass.
Yeah, fine. Time's held, but there's 0.4 of a second left on the clock, so.
Oh, well, Davis was aware of it, but unfortunately didn't quite fall for them. So, very competitive first quarter here on day 3. 10 all as the teams take to the bench. So low scoring.
Yeah, very low scoring, especially, like I say, for the Cayman Islands. We know that they've got the firepower. It's not necessarily too low scoring for the UK Armed Forces in relation to the games that they've already played. So they've had 34, 36 and 40 in their last game. So this is consistent scoring really for them. The Cayman Islands, I would expect to have scored a few more, but it's obviously the pressure of the UK Armed Forces. And this is where when you look at who's won and who's lost, you can't necessarily call it on that because of the firepower that the Cayman Islands have. The lowest that they've scored in the competition so far has been 38. They have the capacity to score a lot of goals and to do it quickly, as we saw in that comeback. So
we'll see if the teams make any change at quarter time. So let's bring you some of the highlights from that first quarter. So pace on the court from both teams, really competitive defence, mixing it up in attack, which I think is proving effective for both the sides.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to see the Cayman Islands defending a bit more through court. I think they're giving Fern Davis and Dee Balakaro way too much space in the mid-court, but then the pressure is on when they go into the end third, so it could also be a tactic of theirs. We know that they don't have as much fitness as the UK Armed Forces, so it could well be that they've said, you know what, let it go through to that point and then let's put the pressure on in the end third to give a bit of a break. I mean, we're not the coaches, we don't know their team as well. And for the UK Armed Forces, they need to be way tighter on both of the shooters. Not tighter as in being really stuck on the body, but just aware of them, because a lot of the time they've given Rose Wilson way too much room, and she is lethal. She can be lethal. She can be lethal under the post, and she can be lethal in the feed as well. So they need to really sort that out at the back.
It's interesting you talk about the fitness of the armed forces, and we've commented on that. And I was talking to Linda Kearney this morning, who's their coach, and I commented we're being impressed with their fitness, and she immediately said, well, that's interesting because they're not as fit as they normally are. So you do kind of put that into context and think, if they're not as fit as they normally would be, and they're this good at this moment in time, bearing in mind they've never played at this level, it's quite an impressive collection of netball that they're putting out there. But they do have people who've played for other countries. So Fern Davis, we know from Welsh netball, very experienced, and others out there. We have, Fijians, Nordia Masters, if she was on, Jamaican play for Celtic Dragons, I think, as well. So we've got a lot of people out there with a lot of experience.
Yeah, Dee Balakaro and Ellie Nawali are both in the both in the Celtic Dragons and both in the long squad. Interestingly, Ellie Nawali isn't on their 12 list today. That surprises me, because she's somebody now that I would say would be great to go in that circle, because the shots aren't going in as easily for the UK Armed Forces, and because of her creative play in the circle and how she takes that front position, offloads quick and then goes again and gets close to post. But they obviously have lots of talented players, and today the coaches have decided to run some of the others out, but she would have been someone that would now be a really good substitute to pop in there.
So if there are any substitutions, we will bring those to you shortly. This early stage, possibly not?
I don't know. I think I personally would be tempted to change up the shooting circle for the UK Armed Forces, just because I haven't got the shooting stats, and I know sometimes we can get drawn to a couple of misses in a row. I just feel it's not going in as easy for them, and if they've got somebody that they can just pop in for a quarter, I'd be tempted to try it. But apart from that, I'd probably keep it the same. I think it's well matched throughout the court, especially when it's 10-all. At 10-all, you don't really want to be making too many changes yet. Just let them settle a bit, and that could well be what they do in the attacking end as well. But we do see a change at goal defence. I believe that we have Nikisha Lewis coming onto court in the goal defence position, which is fantastic, because obviously that was the player that got sent off yesterday. So it's really good to see her getting back on the court.
And we know the combination of Lewis and Lynch in there in that circle has been really impactful for the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, they were a great duo. And to be fair to Nikisha Lewis, she did contact. The umpires were absolutely correct in their decisions yesterday, and really she needed to change her play, but that's learning. This is the first time she's been capped for her country, so this is the first experience of this level of competition, so it's a great learning curve for her, and I'm sure that she'll come on now and do a really good job. So we can see that as well. The Armed Forces have brought on a new centre, so Gal's taken to the bench. It's interesting because she's been really effective all weekend. Possibly tactics, maybe some tired legs out there, different style. Yeah, I also think that Gal's silenced her a lot more than we've seen. She didn't stand out as much, Anna Mulderig, in that quarter as we've seen her before, so it could be tactical, or it could be to give her a rest, but I do think sometimes a change is better than leaving it the same if someone's not firing as well as they could do, because even just 5 minutes off the court to watch what's going on is helpful for them for when they return back onto the court. I think we'll definitely see her again. Curtis is indicating. Yeah, she's called time, so she will have to leave the court. Unless they get someone on in 30 seconds, they'll be playing with 6. A little bit harsh on Nikisha Lewis there. I mean, I think she went for the ball and caught her with her elbow on the way down. Ultimately that is contact, but not intentional or malice in any way.
So good shot by Davis. There, 12-10. Armed Forces centre pass as well.
Yeah, well read. Ashley Davis is going to have to use width and depth to get free. She's just getting a bit caught running laterally. Shot.
The Cayman Islands yet to score in this quarter, 13-10. The Armed Forces leading. Oh, great take by Bolakora.
Yeah, they're going to have to mix their centre passes up the Cayman Islands. We could see it breaking down in the last quarter, and they haven't actually done anything yet to address that. Yeah, good call.
Oh, a bit of misunderstanding between the two there, and Davis sweeps up at the back.
Yeah, different wing attack on for Cayman Islands, which I'm surprised about actually. I thought Alexis Corrales was doing a good job. But again, could be a number of reasons for that change. Could be fitness as well. We've seen her come off in other games and come back on again. Oh, great
overlapping play. That was a real kind of clever interplay between Lewis and Lynch there.
Yeah, Lynch took the front to make the ball lifted, and then Lewis cleared up at the back. And that's where Catherine Gow uses her body really well. She doesn't keep going onto that ball. She just steadies herself, gets herself in front of it, and puts herself between the defender and the ball.
So Cayman Islands just taking their time.
Yeah, Armed Forces putting on a zone in the middle at the moment, which is like a wall of black.
And that's why, because it allows Bailey to fly out.
Yeah, and they'll have done their homework. They'll have seen that under pressure Cayman Islands resort to that long ball, and Bailey will take that every day.
So great pressure again by Lewis. And remember, if you are joining us, let us know you're here, Netball Europe Open, using our hashtag. I understand one of our younger viewers, Dylan Hook, is tuning in with a bacon sandwich first thing, so you're very welcome to be with us. Dylan, wish we were there or wish you were here. Hope you're having a lovely day.
Morning, Dylan. Quite jealous of the bacon sandwich, to be fair. Good baseline drive there. I think that's Melissa Price.
Yeah, great interplay. So 15-10, 5 goals. Cayman Islands haven't scored this quarter.
Yeah, it's unanswered at the moment, and that's, they're getting the turnover, but they can't take it through. They need to do some give and goes through the court and just not worry about the pressure. It's the pressure at the moment that's making them give those balls away.
So Wilson down the other end.
There we go, off the blocks. Oh, unlucky. It was great play there by Catherine Gow, but just went offside. Gives the ball back to the UK Armed Forces. Oh, great defence. You can see her being a lot more careful to come through for it, but actually that was brilliant.
You say you learn a lot about players when things are really tough. So Nikisha has had to go away and think about yesterday. That was a big match for her, hard for her to deal with. And you say she's come back into the game, she's learnt from it, and you can see what a quality player she is.
Yeah, she does have so much talent. It's unbelievable. Nice ball. Oh, she's got the ball and the leg. But good camaraderie, helping each other up.
Gal's mum was telling me yesterday she had the baby while she was getting changed, that the baby is jet lagged, so is up every hour and a half during the night, and Catherine just getting up and feeding her, and then getting up the next day and coming and playing international netball.
And playing centre as well.
Wow.
Superwoman. Oh, unlucky. That was good hedging by Lewis to cover the front and also threaten the pop pass as well, but just a little bit too close.
So Price again, 17-12. We're almost at the halfway mark in this quarter.
Yeah, pressure again on that centre pass. They really need to mix it up. Start off the line. They're both coming over at the moment straight away, which means that there's no second offer coming through. They need to really stagger their offers so they can draw the first two in and then have the second one pop.
So, as usual, one of our wonderful volunteers from Gibraltar is with us, Moira Gomez, President of Gibraltar. Hope you and the team down there are having a great day and enjoying the netball. I'm sure you're going to be looking forward to the 1 o'clock game when Republic of Ireland take on Gibraltar.
Oh, opting for the long ball. They had Gow on the short, and again, this is what happens to them under pressure. That's much better timing there by Ashley Davis for the UK Armed Forces. And the goal attack position, she didn't get too involved in the stuff up the front, just waited, drew out, lost a defender and then cut back in. Good hands there by Kay and Clark.
And so we're just under 7 to go. 20-12, the score here. So Leonard Masu just talking to the goal defence. No caution given though.
Yeah, and I think, that in itself is good as well, just having that word and giving her a moment, because it is naivety.
So again, they're opting for the long ball, the Cayman Islands, but actually we saw yesterday when they bring the ball down, use it along the edge, it's much more effective.
Yeah, and the long ball when it's on is great, but they resort to it when they're under pressure, even when it's not on, and that's the problem.
So that's a really good rebound there from Lynch. Now they like those long balls.
Yeah, and they're all on one side of the court as well.
That's a shame. Wilson looks like he's got an injury. Be interesting to see how quickly the Cayman Islands can settle. We haven't seen them play a different combination to Copeland and Wilson all weekend, so this will be new for them.
Yeah, already showing the new goal attack that she's got a lot of speed. We talk about triangles a lot in netball, and that was one that needed a triangle, so instead of going over the two defenders, she would have been better to lay it off to a mid-quarter on the top edge of the circle and for them to pop it back in. Good circle work there by Ashley Davis, very clever play.
And there we go. For the first time, we now have 22-12, 10-goal difference. This quarter has been a little bit disappointing for Cayman Islands. They've only scored 2 so far.
Yeah, and I think in fairness, it's the pressure that the UK Armed Forces have put on. That zone in the middle has really thrown them, whereas before they were getting their ball through. They've struggled with that. They've also really struggled with getting their centre passes out. So that 3 over from the UK Armed Forces was working really well in the first quarter, especially towards the end, and they just haven't adapted their play to that yet. Although we've seen them come back from heavy scorelines before, so they do have the capacity to come back, as long as they don't let it get into their heads too much. Yeah, good defence there. Great hustle by Christy Hurlston. I think she's had a knock in the process.
She seems to be shaking it off.
And this is that zone. And that's what happens. They force that long ball. What you need is you just need your keeper to come out, offload it to your keeper, drive through the middle. One of two things will happen. Either you'll get it in the middle or you'll draw those players that will open up the wide. At the moment they're trying to send the ball over it, but that's what the UK Armed Forces have set up for. They've set up for that long ball. And again.
I wonder how many times the Cayman Islands would have come up against an effective full court play like that in defence.
Yeah, probably not too much. And the other thing is it's really daunting when you got that ball and you look down the court, because it sits all of the defensive players in the middle. It does look like they outnumber you, like there's more of them than there are of you. So mentally it's quite scary as well. Nice, much better ball placement there from a little bit closer.
Copeland gets one back, but the score now 25-13. 3 minutes until half time.
Yeah, she had to take her feet on that one. She got a hand there, but she just needs to come off and round. Take a clean interception.
They're continuing to play with a degree of calmness out there, aren't they, the UK Armed Forces? They're not getting rattled, they're just doing their, sticking to the game plan.
No, and it's like your interview with Nordia Masters, didn't she say some of them are bomb disposal experts, so faced with pressure on a netball court compared to faced with pressure of disarming a bomb. Yeah. I can understand why they're well versed in being calm. Yeah, great take. Oh, unlucky. That was the right idea to drive through that zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kane Clark just needed to pull
it in. The temptation is to put the ball over the zone, and actually that's exactly what they want to happen, because Bailey and Bolakara at the back will sweep it up.
Yeah.
27 now against 13.
In fairness, this is really good for the Armed Forces. It's nice to see Melissa Price on. They've scored 17 goals so far this quarter. And this shows that they do also have that shooting prowess as well.
Good hands. Umpire playing advantage.
Long diagonal balls.
Yeah.
Nice textbook step around there by Fern Davis. That's another one for the youngsters to watch if you're thinking about, if you often play and you struggle to get the ball around a 3-foot mark, or you find that you throw it into arms, just watch the skill that Fern Davis uses to step around a 3-foot mark. Nice
Great
give and
drive.
Go. Good shot.
So 30 seconds, 15 goals, the difference now, 28-13.
Yeah, good defence. She's wide, will she shoot? Good rebound position there from Bailey and Bolakaro to make sure they came out with that. Oh, and lovely wide space from Ashley Davis again.
Good pick up by Gao. She's, how did she catch that bullet?
It was an absolute bullet, wasn't it? She threw her whole arm into that one. Wow, 28-13. The UK Armed Forces scored 18 goals in that quarter.
Wow.
And 3 to the Cayman Islands.
I mean, that was a real different quarter. 10-all in the first quarter and 18-3. Not many changes by either side, particularly at quarter time, but yet the Armed Forces have really come out strong. Is it that they've played differently, the Armed Forces? Have they continued playing the game? Have the we said that we thought that the Cayman Islands hadn't reacted to the full court zone. They might not have seen one before. They've not worked on tactics. What happened there?
Well, I think from my perspective, it's a number of different things. Firstly, Lewis being interjected into the game is fantastic, but she's invariably been playing goalkeeper, and Nikki Lynch has been playing goal defence, and Lewis's ball handling and distribution is a little bit weaker than Lynch's, so that already weakened your link play through there. Before she came on, we've had mid-quarter covering that goal defence position, so they're a little bit stronger in pulling it through. I think taking Alexis Carias off wasn't possibly the best decision. She was doing a reasonable job, and I think she was probably the reason how she uses her body on the centre pass was probably the only reason they were still managing to get it through that 3-man over. So taking her off and then having the smaller players sort of hidden behind that 3-man wall, they just couldn't get their centre pass out.
So let's see how that played out in the replays, which we're showing you now. And as we can see, as you're talking about that zone, it's not a star that many countries come up against. So the 1-to-1 playing double on the shooters or coming off the body, but actually knowing what to do, as you're saying, when you're facing the wall of black, be it the armed forces or sometimes, the Kiwis in New Zealand out there, is daunting, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's clever play as well by the armed forces coach, because they haven't thrown that out at the start, so they've almost invited, and you know what, maybe it was a tactic as well to drop off Rose Wilson in the start to sort of encourage them to send that ball, and the Cayman Islands have got comfortable in sending that, and there's me saying, they're giving her too much space, but maybe they sort of encouraged that, and then they've gone, right, now we're going to throw that mid-court zone out, and we're going to make them do that because they've got comfortable in it in the first quarter, and all that's going to happen going over a zone like that is it's just going to get picked off at the back because they're throwing it from too deep. And the goalkeeper and the goal defence from the back don't have to do too much apart from watch that ball, and they've got so much talent. If their main job then is watching the ball and not worrying about what's going on behind them, then they're going to get it every time.
Yeah, and that's been really a critical factor, we think, in this game. So if you're enjoying this match, and who wouldn't be on a Saturday morning here from the Isle of Man, tune in with us all day today. At 11 o'clock we bring you hosts Isle of Man against Emirates, and then Republic of Ireland against Gibraltar at 1 o'clock. We have a bit of a break this afternoon, but we're back at 4 o'clock for the Emirates against the UK Armed Forces, and our final game this evening, Gibraltar against the Isle of Man at 6. So huge amount of netball still to bring you today. We hope you're enjoying it. Keep talking to us. Lee Davis, we can see that you're tuning in as well. So welcome. Glad you're enjoying all the netball here with us from Douglas on the Isle of Man. We will also shortly bring you any changes to the two squads, so it'll be interesting to see if they move back to their original wing attack combination with Carias out there, mix it up perhaps in defence a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, if I was them, I'd definitely put Lewis back at the goalkeeper position. I think that's where she plays best. I'd put Lynch back at the goal defence position. She's stronger in bringing the ball through. Catherine Gow has to stay, without a doubt. Rose Wilson, if she's fit enough, needs to go back into that goal attack position. Goal shooter staying the same, and Alex Carias on at wing attack. I think they've got various options. I think both wing defences did a reasonable job. So either Christy Hurlston or Kayan Clark equally effective in that position, I think. And if you were the UK Armed Forces, so now the question is, maybe that centre change was because actually it was a better matchup, but also the new centre played a really good job in the zone. So Fern was saying yesterday that they have all their players. They don't necessarily have a starting 7 or a 7. They play player for player matchup, so they'll do their homework, and the players that will take to court will be the players that will play the game plan the most effectively, but also that will match up against the opposition most effectively, which, if you've got that talent, that's a great position to be in, isn't it?
And one of the things that really struck me when I was talking to their coach Linda Carney this morning was the way she described the teamwork that the armed forces have drilled into them as a part of the way they do their business, so they understand their roles and their functions so well within their professional lives that translates really well into understanding and feeling that hearts and mind stuff, the role that they need to play when they come and play netball. So you can see the kind of the match-up between the two, the professional and then the sporting world.
Yeah, and the strategies that they must have to employ as well. Just, I'm sure that a lot of their job work is a bit like a game of chess. You know, they're working out the best strategies to put against the problems that they're facing, and that's exactly what they've shown out on court as well so far today, that actually they've got the strategies to overcome something. They see a problem and they think, all right, how are we going to solve this? And the players adapting on the court as well to those problems. It doesn't take until quarter time for them to tweak something or make a change, and they hook in with each other and they chat about stuff, and it's just fantastic to see a lesson that other teams can take away from this.
So as we see, it is here in the National Sports Centre, 28 goals against 13. Armed Forces leading the Cayman Islands. We'll wait to see what changes we will be bringing to you as the teams retake to the court shortly. And remember, if you want to have a conversation with Nat and I, let us know. #NEOpen. Andrea is with us, watching in Tesco's car park, waiting to go shopping. Well, who would want to choose shopping at Tesco's over watching the netball? So if I was you, Andrea, I'd stay in the car and keep watching. And then Sue Price with us, also supporting the Armed Forces as well. There must be plenty of people out there for the Cayman Islands, so give us a shout. Let us know you're watching, and the team will know later on that you've been tuning in to us from all over.
There's quite a lot of support for the UK Armed Forces on the Facebook feed as well. And Emily Luca thinks the zoning and the shooting is on point as well.
You maybe know what you're talking about then, Nat.
I don't know, I'm still making my way through life by making stuff up.
It sounds really convincing, I have to say.
Honestly, I say if you walk into anywhere with a clipboard and a suit and look as though you know what you're talking about, you'll be fine.
And of course, as we say, Netball Europe, including all the comms, is done all by volunteers. None of us are professional, and you might say, well, we can tell that. But genuinely, if you think you can do better, we're always glad to hear from you, and we're always looking for new volunteers. So get in touch.
There are some changes coming through for the Cayman Islands, which could well be what we predicted. Nikisha Lewis is going back. So Nikisha Lewis is going back to goalkeeper. Lynch is going to goal defence. They listened to us.
Exactly what you said you thought might happen.
Yeah, although Tashelle Logan is going on at centre. Catherine Gow is going to the bench, which is an interesting decision. Alexis Carias coming back on at wing attack, and Kayan Clark going back onto wing defence.
So they're running the changes. Let's see how that works for them. Price with the ball.
She's got a really nice high shot, hasn't she?
She has. So we normally have seen Tashelle Logan out at wing defence. Haven't seen her play centre so far.
No, Catherine Gow's pretty much been running that, and to be fair to her, she's run that the whole time. So you know, she could be a bit exhausted by this point.
With a few month old baby, we just kind of put that in on the side.
Yeah,
great shot.
Yeah, good use of the reset there. Everyone was on ball side, so clever play by Melissa Price. Oh, she was so close to that ball.
Fingertips. Good shot. So 30 against 14. Armed Forces in the lead here. In the first game on day 3, Netball Europe Open Challenge event.
Contact call there against Alexis Carias. That's really nice play by Rachel Hockenhall.
Great drive and cut back on the baseline.
They're just almost in sort of flow now, where they're just playing some really good technical skills beautifully. You can see there Ashley Davis getting straight across to shut the defender from getting that ball. It's really clever play. Good, they've opted to go back on that centre pass.
I'm just seeing Copeland coming out the circle. We haven't seen her do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Oh, great hands by Bailey.
Yeah, she read that really well. She's tracking her, mimicking the angle the whole time so she can get her feet up for that lifted ball. This is better patience by the Cayman Islands. Oh, unlucky. She did step in, but she was still closer than 3 feet. I think sometimes us defenders get a bit stroppy. Megan Bailey didn't, but sometimes defenders get a bit stroppy that they say, oh, she stepped in, but you still have to be
3 feet.
3 foot from the landing foot, yeah. Even if they do step in. Good discipline.
Such a nice time jump by Nikisha Lewis there.
Nice, better centre pass.
So we have now 33 playing 15. Copeland takes that 33-16. So still 17 goals in at this stage. Quite a big gap for them to make up.
Yeah, and normally I'd be a big advocate of, they can still do it. But you can't rattle the armed forces. So they're going to have to play better than they've ever played before and hope miraculously that something happens to the armed forces where they do lose their heads. But it just doesn't happen, Like we've said, they're calm, composed. If you change the style up, they, it might take them 2 centre passes and then they've got an answer for it. They're not a team you want to go behind to.
No, what a great ball by Fern Davis there, being supported by Rachel Wilkinson, who is in bed with a cup of coffee watching the netball. So don't feel sorry for some of us who are up at 6 o'clock this morning to come to the event.
We've got bacon sandwiches and now cups of coffee.
I know.
We're in the wrong place, Lynn.
We are indeed. So Rachel, welcome. I can see you're supporting Fern. Looks like you're going to have an all-day netball day. What could be better?
Sounds perfect. Jump was too soon that time for Black Rose, so just a little bit too keen.
Nice timing by Bolakera there. She really held her jump.
Yeah, and it just put Kay Copeland off her technique a little bit, meant the shot came in short. But Bailey's doing a really good job at the back of running Copeland round the top as well, not letting her get near to the post. Yeah, Kay and Clark was trying to have a piggyback then. Can't do that.
Oh, unfortunate hand just up. So I think that was because it would appear hand went up deliberately before the distance.
Yeah, she didn't attempt to get any distance there. She was stood right next to her, so umpires deemed it as deliberate.
So just under 10 minutes now remaining of this third quarter. First game, day 3, 34 against 16.
The UK Armed Forces still chipping away. This will make it 6-3 this quarter so far. Sorry, 8-3.
So you've got a 20-goal gap at the moment now. Copeland. Great shot by her. The rotation in the circle between her and Kelly not quite as flowing as it was with Wilson, perhaps not a combination they've used to playing quite so much.
Yeah, and the Cayman Islands are now getting the ball down better, but the problem now is that they're not necessarily being able to get it into the circle in a really good shooting position. So just need to tweak the work of the 2 circle players. Oh, unlucky. Good feed. And that's better by Copeland because instead of... it's just unfortunate on the shot.
Just a little bit flat.
Instead of running around the top there, she came out to cut back in to get herself close to the post, but she's just gone off on a shooting a little bit.
Let's see Melissa Price here. Just a little bit of misunderstanding there between goal attack, goal shooter. Sue Price is watching from here. I wonder if that's Melissa's mum.
It could well be. If it is, she'll be very proud. Melissa's come on and done a great job.
Absolutely.
And to come on in an injury as well. It's quite difficult when you're not prepared to just suddenly take to the court, and she's not phased. Good tip there by...
So Price again. So let us know if you are mum or some other relation to Melissa. We'll give you a shout out here. Armed Forces now 38-17 the lead, well 39.
And this is great. I mean, this is the shooting I think that they've been missing before. So we talked about how many they've scored. The highest they've scored so far this tournament has been 40 against the Isle of Man, and that's the full-time score. They're already ticking 39. I don't think it will be long until we see their 40th. That's better.
You sense that the Cayman Islands just need to go back to some of the basics they were doing really well yesterday with ball placement and space awareness.
Yeah, and it's like you said, you know, they haven't had much international experience. There's a lot of girls out there that haven't had any caps. So this is all new, and it is a learning curve, but it's really hard to keep that focus and keep that composure for the more seasoned athletes that have had lots of caps. So to do it when it's all fresh is a big ask, but ultimately it's good practice. That's where they need to be.
So Armed Forces now on 40, as you said. Now they've scored the most they have so far in this game, with still half this quarter and another to go. So could be a very strong performance from them today.
Yeah, and they've been building throughout. They've been consistent in all the good stuff, but I'd just say it keeps getting better. The links between them, they didn't have as much in the first game, the connections, but those connections between them are really building now. But I do think, like I say, Melissa Price's interjection into the game has been really good. Good decision. It's clever play by Alexis Carias.
Circle was all a little bit crowded there, wasn't it? And the space was over the other side.
Yeah, and just Copeland seems to have gone off her shots now. She's missed quite a few in this quarter. It's that thing, isn't it, when the wheels come off of one, they tend to come off of a few more. Nice.
Oh, great. Fast feed. So we see Lynch now on a warning. We saw what happened yesterday in the Isle of Man game. The Cayman Islands bench perhaps didn't react the way we thought. You would normally see a player on a warning, perhaps sub, particularly when there's still a full quarter to go. You know, one more call by the umpire, then they will be benched for 2 minutes.
It's tough, isn't it? I mean, I don't want to be too controversial, but I'm surprised she's on a warning. I think they've improved their game hugely. I think they have learnt from yesterday. It's for persistent obstruction. You know what, I haven't been counting how many she's done, so she could have done loads and be well deserved of it, but it's just a bit disappointing. It will be interesting to see what they do.
So that's the second player.
Yeah, Kane
on a warning.
Now on a warning as well.
So good hands by Lynch. Now this is a measure of a team, how they respond to what the umpire is pulling them for, isn't it? They can't wait until half time, to 3/4 time. There's still another 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, they just need to go, you know what, okay, let's make sure every time we are, 4 feet rather than 3 feet. They've got the height to do that.
Yeah. So 42 against 20 now. Cayman Islands centre pass.
Yeah, good work, Alexis Carias. The ball was coming to her from the centre, whether she liked it or not, even with that double on. So fair play. Yes, well done. And that was a good baseline drive from Kelly that drew those two defenders off the bulwark. So you see,
nice play. She thought about, did she go for the goal attack or played it out?
And you can see almost Lynch now has dropped off marking a little bit, and I wonder whether they understand what the warning was for, because the warning was for obstruction, for persistent obstruction, but she's not now going for ball either.
We rightly talk a lot about the importance of
great
world-class umpires, and at events like Netball Europe we're really fortunate to have such good quality umpires. In teams like Cayman Islands, where the netball kind of base is much smaller, both in players, coaches and quality officials, and sometimes how they're being umpired will be different, and this isn't meant to be critical in any way, but when you have an experienced umpire who is officiating at this level, it is different to perhaps playing club netball with an official at that level.
Yeah, and the two styles being a different style as well, so I know that you could argue that contact's contact either way, but when you have the same physicality against the same physicality, sometimes that then is deemed contest. When you have someone who's really physical against someone who's not so physical, that's when it becomes more contact, because it's one impeding the other as opposed to sort of both of them contesting for the ball. So that again is something that plays into it too.
Hopefully their centre for the armed forces calling for that ball back, wants to get on with the game, understandably. 43-22.
Yeah, they won't stop until the job is done. And as you said a few days ago, the job isn't done until the game's finished. They will want every single little ball, every single goal.
So a minute left here until three-quarter time. Oh, good pressure.
Yeah, it's good to use the back centre pass, but she just needs to drive it down, because they could really expose the back space with the goal defence, wing defence and centre being in front of the play. If they sent it back but had it driving down a bit, then there's all that back space for your wing attack and goal attack to drive into, and then it's 3-on-1 at the back. Oh, goodness me.
So there we go, another call by the umpire, and because Nikki Lynch was on a warning, she's been sent to the bench for 2 minutes. So this is exactly the scenario we saw yesterday against Isle of Man, although it was in the third quarter, not the second. So Nikisha Lewis is going to be in there on her own. What a great job she's doing as well.
Oh yeah, Nikisha Lewis on her own, yeah.
So again, we wondered yesterday why the bench didn't take the player on the warning off to the bench. They have got a few options there. Perhaps better to do that than end up in a scenario where you only have 6 players on the court.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I think with her being on a warning, I can understand that, you know, they've got 2 on warnings, wing defence and the goal defence. I can understand them playing that out and hoping that she'll change a game. There wasn't too long left of this quarter. In fact, the buzzer's going to go any minute. But what will be interesting to see now is if they put her back on, because then the problem that they had yesterday is they put her back on and then she had another infringement, and then that was it. She was out of the game. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they've learned and they won't put Nikki Lynch back on now. They'll look after her, take her off the court and give her a quarter off and just change up the back.
So as we can see, the three-quarter time here at the National Sports Centre on the Isle of Man. Armed Forces 46, Cayman Islands 22. So a better quarter by Cayman Islands, but still dominated by the UK Armed Forces in so many ways.
Yeah, I mean, the UK Armed Forces doubled the Cayman Islands score that quarter. So if my maths is correct, it was 9-18 to the UK Armed Forces. What I am really impressed about is this 18 scored for the UK Armed Forces. I'm impressed that they're now putting the goals away. As we said earlier, they haven't been scoring as many as you'd expect, even though they're coming out with a win. So they're obviously doing a really good job in putting the pressure on through the court and defending. But it's nice to see them now getting the score line as well to really back that up. It is a whole team effort, and that's fantastic. Positively for the Cayman Islands, they are now working better at their centre pass. They're not getting that pinged every time. You know, 9 goals is a lot better than 3. They were starting to tweak towards the end on getting that ball into the circle. I think that 9 would be a lot higher if Copeland hadn't gone off the boil a bit. You know, they've relied on her throughout the tournament to be sinking those goals, and this is the first quarter that we've seen her not. I think that would be a lot higher if her shooting was still on form.
And they're settling into that new combination with Kelly on at goal attack instead of Rose Wilson, who we've seen working really effectively with Copeland. We've seen teams trying to double on Copeland, and then Wilson just absolutely kills them at the front of the circle and is dominating in there. With a new combination, Kelly perhaps hasn't had quite that impact in the game that Wilson would do, and the rotation, the combination not working perhaps quite as strongly on their behalf. But take nothing away from Bolakora and Bailey at the back for the armed forces. Really kind of silent but so effective.
Yeah, I mean, Bailey's been running Copeland really well by not allowing her near the post, so she's been running her out quite a bit, and in fairness to Copeland, she did start to work that out and work out that she has to come out to get back in, but Bailey's been doing a great job at the back to prevent her, and I think she's probably the first defender that we've seen really give Kay Copeland a run for her money, and that's also going to impact whether those shots go in or not. With that pressure before you even get the ball, when you get the ball, you're absolutely exhausted.
And that's why when you're preparing for any event of this nature, it's what you do in practice and that replication of the pressure you're going to feel when you actually hit the court. For someone like the Cayman Islands, who used to be a world ranked team, but they've dropped out of that, and what that in effect means is they're not playing international netball, because you only have to play 8 international games in 4 years to get and then keep a world ranking. So it's clear they haven't been able to, for whatever reason, get back on the international stage. This is their first sort of dipping their toe back into the water. Clearly have talent, clearly have huge amount of potential. You just wonder how much more kind of support they might need around some of these, what we would think are basic stuff at international level. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but just dealing with some of these challenging situations, warnings, cautions. What do you say to the players? How do you deal with zones?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, they do have talent. They've got bags of talent in that team, and we've seen that throughout the whole of the court. And you know, speaking to the umpires yesterday, I know they were disappointed as well with how the game turned out, but you know, there wasn't anything else they could do. They were 100% correct. If you've got players wiping players out on the court, intentionally or not, as an umpire they have to do something. You know, the safety of the players is paramount. But I know that they were disappointed as well with how it ended, and it is difficult because they can't tell the coaches to take them off, can they? They have to just exactly. So here we go, last 15 minutes, couple of changes.
Match 13, probably not surprisingly we've seen a few changes. So Curtis is back on for Price in the circle for the armed forces.
Yeah, Price has gone to the goal attack position, and we see Catherine Chadwick take to the court as well in goal defence, which means Dee Balakaro has gone to the bench. Thankfully, there is a change in that goal defence. Oh no, she's not back on yet because the 2 minutes.
2 minutes haven't run out. No, she's still there. So the 2 minutes carries on. So even though it was only a few seconds left on that game, it will be 2 minutes.
Yeah,
so they're not allowed to bring anybody else on, and they will be playing with 6 players until the full 2 minutes have passed.
Yeah.
So good on Nikisha Lewis there. 47-22.
I'm really pleased with how Nikisha Lewis has played today. She's shown a lot of maturity to come back on, and she's been playing some really clean netball as well, getting her feet around, getting her hands to stuff. I think she's played better today than she did yesterday.
Great. And let's see, Nikki Lynch is now back on.
Now it'll be interesting to see if we get that change. No one seems to be moving on the bench.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because if she gets another infringement, then she's off, and she's off for the rest of the game, and they can't bring another sub on. So they will play with 6 players, 1 out of the circle.
Yeah, and you know what? We're not in the coach's shoes. It's really easy to coach from the bench, but I'm not going to sit on the fence with this one. I am disappointed. I'm disappointed for the play. Oh no, hold on. She is calling time. Good job. I'm just not sure who is coming on for her.
Well, no, but it doesn't look like anyone's particularly warm. Okay, who's going to do it?
She was on the bike. Yeah, good job, coaches. Well done, because that's protecting your player from not being able to play, but also protecting them from having to go through that experience, because it's not a nice experience being removed from the game. And now hopefully in the future, now that they've been able to manage this, they can start to manage how the players adapt from the caution and not actually get to the point where they're being warned and sent off. But, you know, if you get a caution for this, what do you need to do to your game to change it?
Exactly. I talked to Nikisha last night and she was absolutely distraught because there was nothing intentional about her movement. We talk about body management, don't we, in netball, and the umpires are absolutely right in their decision making, but from her perspective there was no malice in it, and it's just that fine balance about how do you compete at this level cleanly when your intentions are good, and the impact on a player emotionally is difficult. Yet here she is back on the court, she's learnt from it and she's effective.
Yeah, and when you're just having the feedback from the umpires are obviously saying no more, tidy up, but actually it needs the coaches to interject, even if that's pulling them off when they've got a caution, putting them back on, you know, after a couple of minutes, just to talk to them about what they need to change, how they can do that and what it looks like. So there's no point in saying to someone, clean up. Well, what does that
actually mean and look like? Yeah, agreed.
Great long ball through to Kelly. Oh, Mulderig's back on the court.
And don't everyone know it.
Beautiful.
Well done, Hurlston. Oh, unlucky, bless. Curtis.
See, just off your screen there, I love that camaraderie. Fern Davis helping up Hurlston when she was on the floor. That's fantastic. Good defence by the Cayman Islands.
So Armed Forces looking for goal number 50.
Yeah,
which could drop for them now.
Great feet.
It does.
Just wanted to say great feed from Anna Mullerig. She waited then for it to open up and then sent it in.
And here we see Catherine Gow back on the Cayman Islands. Oof. Hurlston picks herself up. So the score here, 50-23.
Oh, nice ball.
That's better on the triangles.
Well read by Bailey. She's unfortunate not to come out with that.
Oh, nearly there.
Nice. She's very clever on her feeds, Mulderig.
So Curtis, 51-23. It's a good performance by the Armed Forces in terms of the quantity of goals they've scored this time.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And it's good to see Curtis back on after that knock as well. It's always nice when you see that players aren't out injured for long. Oh, just a bit of miscommunication and a bit of discipline needed by Kelly. She could have got the ball then if she'd have gone with two hands, but a bit of tussle between her and Chadwick ends up with, oh, great job, Lewis. Oh, that jump. She'll be pleased with that. Fortunately, they can't take it through, so Chadwick will take the sideline. And you can sometimes see the more experienced places and more experienced players in the UK Armed Forces just giving a nod or a point to the other players as to where it is they want them, where they need to be, and they react so quickly to that. Catherine Gow just needs to stay upright and balanced when she has the ball.
So again, combination there. Price and Curtis working effectively. 53 against 23, so 30 goals now. It's quite probably a bigger gap than we thought. Do you think there's anything around some of the discipline reaction to the umpires that the Cayman Islands need to learn from and reflect on?
I'm not sure it's the discipline the discipline obviously hasn't been great in terms of that, and we've talked about that. I don't think that's the reason that they're down so many. I think it was the lack of ability to adapt to what was happening on the court. So that zone threw them completely. And we've seen before from the Cayman Islands that they're quite a mental team as well. So when it starts to fall apart, other things start to fall apart as well, and their basics start to drop a little bit. I think it was that second quarter that was their undoing. Just scoring 3 in one quarter and the opposition scoring 18 is a massive blow to take. But it was the armed forces that came up with a really good strategy to make that happen, so fair play to them.
So what can I do here? Copeland.
There's just a couple of moments now for the Cayman Islands.
Oh, very clever. Chadwick.
Yes, there's a couple of moments now that we're seeing, which is back to how they can play when they play well. It'd be nice for them to finish on a good one.
Oh, Moldrick just kept that in.
Chadwick is back up. Nice movement there by Curtis.
Great shot by her too. Lovely front cut. 55 plays 23. We've got 6.5 minutes left here. Now Nat.
Nice.
So if we look ahead for today, we will see the UK Armed Forces back here at 4 o'clock against the Emirates. That's going to be an interesting game. Cayman Islands now have the rest of the day to recover and reflect, watch some replays of the game. They'll be back here tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, when they play Israel.
Yeah, and they should win that game.
I think on the form we've seen so far, should be the case.
Oh, we have a player down on the court. 2 players.
That's Holston and Nikisha Lewis.
I'm not sure who they've got to come onto that goalkeeper position, but she is struggling.
I think she got a knock in the mouth, did she? She all right?
Oh, upside down. Yeah, I'm sure she'll be fine. Can take you a second to just sort of get your breath back from something like that, can't it?
Absolutely. Well, we wish her the best, as always.
She'll be back, without a doubt. She's a tough cookie. Oh, well read, Catherine Chadwick. Just sat back off that, watched it come through. Just a
great drive into the circle.
A masterclass on through court there. You can hear Nordia.
Yeah.
She's such a good captain, isn't she? On or off the court, she is constantly supporting them.
Nice play there. So 57 up to 58 with that last goal. 23. They're going to be having an eye on the scoreboard. I would have thought they're going to be wanting to hit 60, but much better there. Placement to Copeland.
She needs to still make sure she comes through to meet that ball. They've just started sitting back a little bit. If they don't meet the ball, the armed forces will continue to take them off them. Oh, great ball. Beautifully weighted into the backspace. A nice move, Nikki Curtis. Yeah, good rebound.
So less than 5 minutes here now. Remember, you can still join us and let us know your thoughts on the game. Use our hashtag NEOpen. We also have, as of yesterday, an Instagram page at Netball Europe. So join us there too.
Can follow the story on Instagram. Oh, well read. Good width. Oh, unlucky Fern. Oh, replayed. Nice long ball. Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
I'm not sure how she got away with that one.
No. Did look a little bit ball handly-ish. Is there such a description?
Short pass and then a little bit juggling. Then again, I'm not an umpire. And I get confused sometimes over the control, not controlled. Nice pass, good timing as well by Melissa Price, and that placement was nice as well because she was coming towards the defenders. Some people can look at that and think, oh, she had to catch it behind her, but it was nicely placed behind her because then the defence can't get to it. Good backing out by Catherine Chadwick, nice middle. Oh, just
lucky there by Clark. She almost got her hand down to it.
Yes.
Curtis scores another one, and there we are over 60 as we know. 61 playing 24.
Catherine Gow doesn't stay down for long. She bounces. She's back up. Oh, Fern Davis. Fantastic. Covered both players there. Hedged one, intercepted the other. Oh, and the same the other end. It's great that there's 2.5 minutes to go and they're still showing some of this great elements of netball. Nice.
So it's better patience.
It's a long shot, yeah.
There's that reverse pivot we talk about. A great shot by Copeland.
Maybe that's why she missed in the third. She didn't do a reverse pivot.
Well, good to see Tyler Sue, one of our favourite netball volunteers, is back watching the Netball Europe Open. She's got 25 exams she's supposed to be preparing for, so we won't tell her mum. We won't say to your mum, you're watching the netball again, Tyler Sue. Keep it to ourselves.
As long as she's not watching it as well.
Because mum probably is actually.
She knows now. Oh, well held, well kept in. Good shot, well done.
We're now down to just over a minute to go in this match, 61-26. It's been a bit of a masterclass from the UK Armed Forces, I think it's fair to say.
It has, yeah. A chess masterclass and a show of consistency of technical skills as well by the players. And the fact that any one of them can come on court and do an equally as good job as the one before.
Oh. It's classically known as an air ball in netball terms.
She knew it too though.
Yep.
And the best thing is, hands to head, moved on straight away. She may well get another attempt though. Ball now.
Yeah, still 30 seconds on the clock. Long time in netball as we know.
Yeah, nice outlet pass.
Oof. Wilson just marginally late on the challenge there.
Unlucky, they've got 10 seconds to get this down the court. Three now.
Bang. And that is a great game here that's opened up day 3 of the Netball Europe Open Challenge event this weekend. Seen the UK Armed Forces take quite a convincing win, 61 goals against Cayman Islands 27. After the first quarter it was 10-all, so probably not quite the result we thought might be the case, Nat.
No, I mean, if you were going to put money on it, I think you probably would have bet on the UK Armed Forces, just because of how consistent they have been. But we did, I thought it was going to be closer because of the firepower that they were seeing in the Cayman Islands, and that's the lowest they've scored. And all credit to the UK Armed Forces, because it's because of their defence that they put on and the strategies they put on in place. They played that a very good game, and they deserved the win.
So we've now seen the UK Armed Forces play 4 and win 4. They've got 2 more games to go against the Emirates this afternoon at 4, and then their final match of the tournament actually closes tomorrow against Israel at 3 o'clock. So we have 2 events here this weekend. We have the Invitational competition, which includes the Cayman Islands and the UK Armed Forces. And then we have our Netball Europe Open, which are the 5 member countries in Netball Europe. So anyone can be the winner of the Invitational, but only the 5 Netball Europe member countries can be the winner of the Open. So as it stands at the moment, looking like the UK Armed Forces could win tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it'll be based on the game tonight. I don't think we've seen Emirates play at their best. They are the hope left, I would say, to turn the UK Armed Forces. I think tomorrow's game against Israel, the UK Armed Forces will win, and that's no disrespect to Israel. It's just that there is a big difference between the 2 sides. It will depend on this afternoon's outcome, but I would say UK
you would
Armed
bet
Forces.
on that now, would you? You'd put your money on it now, would you not?
Mind you, I normally get
4
it
out
wrong,
of 4. So I hope you've enjoyed the match this morning. Remember, join us back here at 11 o'clock to see our hosts Isle of Man take on Emirates in what will be another very tightly contested game. My thanks for this morning go to Netball Europe, hosts Isle of Man, our partners QTV Sport, all our volunteers that make our great sport happen, and of course to all of you for joining in this morning. Don't go too far. See you back here at 11 o'clock.